to live and rule forever. In fact, they said they can even become an immortality. They were discussing it on their way to the parade ground, not knowing that their mic were still on. They were saying that 70 years old is just like a newborn baby. That they can be able to live 150 years with organ transplants. That when you transplant the organ, the more you live, the younger you become. In fact, talking about living forever, because Putin said you can even able to live as an immortal. You will not die. You will live forever. These world leaders are planning to continue living forever, to rule forever. In fact, their discussion has shaken the whole world. That so these people now say, yes, we have been hearing that China is the #1 organ transplanting country in the whole world. They will just carry their prisoner whenever not die. Prisoner when they won't die, they'll just carry and consider them to just die and they'll just tear in belly, remove the organ, put them for old person body, then the person will become young. They say the more you live, the younger you become. That you can be even able to become immortal. Immortality. That nothing will do. You will just live for. You see, what powers don't want to leave the power? Nobody in power wants to leave the power. These people wants to rule forever. Before we continue, let's listen to the moment they were discussing it. Let's listen to it.
People are talking about the hot mic comment that was caught. They caught a few remarks from Putin about living forever. Watch.
In the past, people rarely lived longer than 70 years. But today, they say that at 70, you are still a child.
Human organs can be continuously transplanted. The longer you live, the younger you become, and can even achieve immortality.
Well, first of all, Putin headed up the KGB. So anyone who thinks that was a hot mic, I mean, I shouldn't have described it that way. He knew exactly what he was saying, and he knew it was going to be picked up on microphone. For anyone who doesn't understand how the KGB operated for decades and decades and still does, they didn't get that. But what did you make of that? That was sending a message to everyone out there, was it not?
That was pretty incredible, and I think not surprisingly, both Putin and Xi recently turned 70, so suddenly they're fixated on their mortality, and you literally have them conspiring to be dictators, not just for life, but for all eternity. And this is pretty ghoulish, Laura, to have somebody who purports to be a Orthodox Christian like Putin saying he's going to harvest organs to fool God and live forever. It's just it gives you a little window into their world, to the way they see power and the way they treat both the Chinese people and the Russian people, literally as something to be farmed for their own immortality.
Well, China's long suspected to be harvesting organs from prisoners, and what I think this brings up is, why be in any rush to do any deal with China? We know what China wants to do. Let them cool their jets. They want to play this game. We should play it on our side. I wouldn't do any deal with China.
That China is known for harvesting the organs of its prisoners. What is China doing with the organs of its prisoners? To renew their body to live forever. Because if you see these people, they will never old. They have the money to use other people's organs and put it in their body and remove their own dead organs. And they said the more you live, the more you look younger. Meaning, if they should put the organs in your body today, in the next 10 years, you will still remain the same. Because it is not your natural organ, it's another person's organ. Maybe they give you are 70 years, they give you the organ of a 20-year-old boy. So you always look like a 20-year-old boy. So it's not time you are going to die. Maybe before that one, the organ of the 20-year-old boy don't still weak. Don't still find another younger person organ, prisoner organ. Remove the organ, put them for inside your body. Then the person will still become young again. That is what they are trying to say. They were sending a very clear message to the world, telling the whole world that this is what we want to be. We are going to be a world leader, not just for now, but forever.
Immortality. Yesterday at the Victory Day ceremony, a private conversation between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin on the theme of immortality was captured. They talked about living up to 150 years through organ transplants. Reporter Lee Sang-yup brings us more on their conversation and reactions from the US and Japan regarding the military parade. A private conversation between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin, which was held as they ascended the Tiananmen Gate, has been revealed. Unaware that the microphones were on, they exchanged words. President Putin noted that living past 70 was rare in the past, but nowadays, being 70 is akin to being a child. President Xi responded by saying that human organs can continue to be transplanted and immortality is possible.
Look at that. This was the moment the microphone was not
At
off.
72, President Xi has been in power for 13 years since 2012, and President Putin, who is the same age, has been ruling for 25 years.
A hot mic moment of sorts has set off quite a buzz on the sidelines of a military parade in Beijing. Chinese President Xi Jinping and the Russian President were overheard, in a way, discussing organ transplants as a means of prolonging life. Over the last several years, in fact, rapid advancements in science have enabled transplanted organs to last longer, thereby enabling individuals to live longer than expected. But transplants are fraught with risks. And currently, people who get a new organ take strong anti-rejection drugs called immunosuppressants for life. Now, these are meant to counter the side effects caused by a transplanted organ, basically. But a new gene editing tool has raised hopes of developing tailor-made organs. Scientists are experimenting on pigs with a gene editing tool, the inventors of which won the 2020 Nobel in Chemistry. Simply put, this gene editing tool could help scientists develop organs for transplant as per the individual needs. And these rejection-free organs, in a way, promise to make transplanted organs more compatible, thereby extending human life. Another avenue being explored is growing brand new organs using human cells, particularly stem cells, which have the ability to grow into any type of cell or tissue found in the body. Now, if these experiments succeed, it may not be long before multiple organ transplants take human life expectancy to above 100 or even 150 years for that matter.
Imagine, Putin has held power for 25 good years. Xi Jinping has held power for 13 good years for China. The other one, 25 years for Russia. And they still want to live and rule forever. Do you see how people can be so greedy with power? Do you see? Because they just look at the military parade. They look at the people that are under their leadership. They look at everywhere. They imagine, say, so one day, I'm going to die and leave all these things behind. I want to live more years. I want to live forever. There must be a way out. They said that China is good in that. They are the one carrying their prisoner, removing their organs to reconstruct anybody that can be able to afford it. Maybe presidents of the world, maybe like people like Putin that really need it so desperately because he is 72 years. And he has been ruling for the past 25 years. So he don't want to leave power. He wants to rule forever. I saw a lady crying that, oh God, I reject Putin living forever. How can Putin live? If Putin live forever, he remains to be the president of Russia forever. That is their plan, to live immortality. In fact, they don't want to die at all. They want to live forever. Hey, do you see? Rich people don't want to. They don't want to die. If they see the goodies, like that military parade, who won't die live that kind of power? He go to think and say, I ain't go die live this kind of power. But you go still die. You go still die. There is no amount of changing of organs. You go still die one day. You get injection that they take for the rest of their life if they change their organ. You remove 20 years, you remove your organ, put 20 years old picking organ. The more you they grow, the more you they look feel younger. Yes, because the organs does not belong to you, it belongs to a little child. It is possible with money, but one day, you will still die. If you not die for accident, plane crash go take your life. Something must buy you. Something must buy you. I'm not sure. God don't they make mistake.